Welcome back, everybody. Your loyal Captain Giver 100 has returned yet again for another video for you guys today. And you guys clicked on that title because you guys know what's up. What if Deku was the son of All Might? By popular demand, finally it's my turn to take my iteration on this, AU. Now, guys, this video could have gone a million other ways for me, but you know what? I decided that this is honestly gonna go the best way. I'm gonna give you guys a backstory on how this happened, and this was actually not an original idea. Well, obviously it's not. What if Deku was All Might's son? It's not something original, but there are many original ideas out there that you guys gave me, and yes, I am still looking. I look at every single comment you guys write. It's not going through a filter. You guys are saying this to me here. I have nothing better to do but to read the comments. And I've seen a lot of comments that you guys have given me, and you guys have given me multiple great ideas. But what if Deku was All Might's son? It's about time I needed to do it, but it wasn't my idea that I do this. This was actually written by a subscriber. So before we start the video, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to the subscriber. This is 13 days ago, Rawsome Gaming 7017. He commented, what if Deku was a Todoroki, or what if Deku was All Might's son? So, and obviously, as you guys can see, I liked it. I very much like the idea. Not what if Deku was a Todoroki, because then, oh my gosh. I mean, there are many ways and a plethora of ways I could do this, but I just really didn't want to do that idea because it was such an overused trope. But there are even though what if Deku was All Might's son was many an overused trope, nobody's ever taken the idea that I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take this idea and actually, you know what, just throw it out there as much as I can. So there are many ways that I could have done this, but I chose the best option. And you guys know I have to throw a little spice of flavor of Gear 100 in there, so you guys know it's definitely going to be an original idea. So, Rawsome Gaming 7017, once again, shouts out to you for this idea right here. Love you guys. Love you. Love my faithful subscribers. There are many other subscriber what ifs coming out in the future, but this is one that I'm pulling up for you guys. Now, with that being said, I give a little shout out. Y'all already know what's about to happen. Y'all ready? I'm ready. Cue the intro.
It doesn't matter who's wrong, who's right.
So how exactly would this happen? How exactly would Deku become the son of the greatest hero known around the entire world? Well, we're gonna have to go well beyond back in order for that to be a thing. All right, and what a better way to start than back during his high school days. Now, this will be a time where this will be after the period of where Nana had already passed away. And okay, this would be like a period after All Might debuting in in America, with David Shield, but this time he would take on becoming a professional hero. So this time he would go to Japan to go into UA. But this would be before he actually went into UA. Since UA is a college, AU, I'm gonna say this is like All Might's high school years. And he's like in an average high school right now. Nothing too privileged or anything else. And crazy enough, as fate would have it, he would end up accidentally bumping into two women. But on this side, he would actually end up it would be literally like fate had matched him with this woman. He would end up bumping into a green-haired woman, walking right next to a blonde-haired woman. And you guys, we already know this being Mitsuki and Inko. Now, Mitsuki taking up for Inko would, as you guys can see here, would tell All Might to watch where he's going. I mean, Inko wouldn't really make a big deal out of it, but you already know Mitsuki's like pissed off and everything, because when you bumped into her friend, you should never do that. All Might profusely apologized and everything, and Mitsuki was straight about to just punch him, but until All Might ran away. Yeah, you better run away! Oh my gosh. But Inko couldn't help but think that guy was kind of cute. And Mitsuki says, ugh, whatever. And Inko would tease Mitsuki. Oh, really? Like the way you look at Masaru? Let's not mention that right now. We got class to go to. Okay, this will be like their first like meeting. This is actually their first altercation. This is actually a good thing. Now, as time went on in the high school years for All Might, he actually ran into Inko a bit more. In fact, their full-on interaction would be All Might saving Inko from a few bullies because her quirk wasn't actually very good. Now, this will happen in the library. All Might is studying upon because for upcoming tests, because we know All Might's kind of an idiot. So he will be studying really hard for this upcoming test for the finals here, and he's struggling massively. Like, oh my gosh. Until he would hear an altercation coming behind a few shelves. As, you know, All Might, he always has to get up and see what's going on. And he would see a green-haired woman being picked on by a few guys and a few girls, saying, really? You can't even defend yourself with their quirk? Oh, right, I forgot. Your quirk is so weak and useless. Nothing special about it at all. As we know, Mitsuki isn't around to help Inko right now because she's with Masaru right now. You know, they're kind of hanging out in the lunchroom. Inko came to the lunchroom because, well, she needed to study up herself a little bit. But she actually started crying here. Like, oh, you're in high school and you're crying? A little crybaby. As All Might would know, he does not want this to happen to anybody. As he would walk over, hey, stop it. Like, huh? Who are you? Oh, wait, I know this guy. He's the guy proclaiming he's going to be the next #1 hero. Like, you're goddamn right I am. And I'd appreciate it if you leave this young lady alone. Oh, yeah? And who's going to make us? As, okay. This is a period in time of where All Might did, well, you know what, screw it. He mastered actually his buffed up form, and he's actually able to keep it up for a little while. So this is like a prime young age All Might who buffed up right in front of these guys, and for some reason he's still his goddamn height. I don't even know how that works, but I don't even care. It doesn't matter. He says, I'll put you through the shelf if you don't leave her alone. And the guy's being intimidated because their quirks aren't that good. They just run off and everything. Are you okay? Yes. Yes, thank you. As she would start picking up her things, like, oh, let me help you. As All Might would go down. You guys know this is like a classic cliche thing. All Might would reach his hand out and so would Inko. And their hands would interlock fingers on the item they're trying to pick up. And as they look up at each other, green eyes would meet with blue eyes. As All Might would say, oh, I'm sorry, as they would both blush at this. Like, no, it's okay. Thanks again for saving me. Like, no problem. I don't really like bullies. Like, really? Like, really? Yeah, believe it or not, I was the victim of bullying once or twice, like, a long time ago. So I know what it's like, just because your quirk is weak. Like, oh, but you don't seem to have a very weak quirk. And wait, yeah, I've heard of you before. You're Toshinori Yagi. You say you're going to be the next #1 hero. Yes, actually. I promised someone I would become a hero. So, it's very important that I do. Oh, well, good luck on that path. You seem like a really nice guy. I believe in you. As Toshinori would not know what this feeling is. He never thought he'd actually find this feeling. Because being #1, Nana, like, he saw firsthand what Nana had to do, what she had to give up to become #1. She had to give up her own family. She had to give up love itself. But he couldn't shake the feeling for this woman here. He just, for some reason, could not. He doesn't know how. But anyway, All Might had offered for, if in case the bullies come back, Inko can hang out with him because they were both studying. So Inko took him up on that offer and actually sat down with All Might and ate lunch together in the library. Of course, All Might had gotten no studying done and he failed, but like somehow he got a second chance and he passed that one with like a 78. So he's fine. So, but anyway, after that ordeal, like All Might had started to hang out with Inko a little bit more, and Mitsuki never thought she'd see the day where sheepish and shy as Inko would actually find love. And Inko would say it's not like that. And, well, but she knew dang well deep down she actually did like Toshinori. And we cut to like Gran Torino's point of view right now, as this will be a very funny thing, because he never thought he'd see the day where young Toshinori would actually find love. All Might would say, like, on one hand, he doesn't want to feel this way because knowing what that man is capable of doing, he doesn't really want to put Inko in harm's way. But he just can't help but to like Inko. He doesn't know why he has such strong feelings, but he can't put them away. Gran Torino would say you only get to find love once, Toshinori, and well, it's up to him whether he wants to take his feelings to the next level or not. So All Might and Inko had gotten to know each other throughout all of high school years, and to be honest, All Might was not gonna let it happen, was not going to make a move, but he knew eventually he would have to come up to that man at one point, and he just could not let it happen without telling Inko just how he felt one time. So with a sheer boost of confidence, he managed to pull Inko to the side real quick and tell her his true feelings, that he has feelings for her, not just any ordinary feelings. He loves her. And Inko would surprisingly just jump on him and just kiss him, saying that she felt the same way. And just like that, a relationship was sparked between the two. At first, All Might didn't want to be in a relationship, but at this point, who is he to deny Inko? Everybody in the fandom loves Inko. It's just too good. It's too good. It's too much. You can't do it. So, okay, hold on. Let me change this a little bit. So, of course, even after All Might had gotten into UA, Inko had still supported Toshinori throughout every single decision he made, even upon his dreams of becoming a hero. Inko, like, Toshinori, like, even told Inko that after he becomes a hero, there's gonna be bad people coming after him because he'll be the number one, he'll be a hero, and not just that, the future number one hero. That'll put a target on his back and essentially the people he loves too. And he doesn't really want to do that to Inko. But Inko cannot part ways with Toshinori. She loves him too much and she's just too attached to him. Inko said she's ready for anything that comes her way, that their relationship will always spark through that. And All Might, he just had to go with it. He couldn't reject Inko, and he loved her too much just to see her go. So the relationship would continue even throughout All Might's adventures through UA. And actually it went on amazingly. Even after All Might's so many records, Inko's parents actually loved All Might a lot. Inko's parents actually loved All Might a lot. So this was actually a pretty nice thing. Even after All Might's many achievements and many awards, he would always find time for Inko in the end. Until you guys knew I had to make it happen one day. The day where All Might finally came up against that man. So this would happen, okay, I'm gonna say at least 2 to 3, this would happen at least 2 to 3 years before. So All Might's like, Inko is 22, All Might is like 23. So All Might's gonna wait till they're both 25. And All Might said that he's at his peak. And okay, he trusts Inko so much that Inko does know about the secret of One For All. Like, they've been together for like years now, throughout all of high school, and this time it's throughout their college years. So now All Might trusted Inko with the secret of One For All, and like what his power truly is. And this is like well after he became the number one hero. So this is actually pretty great. So All Might had told Inko that he has to go off and fight All For One now. That even though he doesn't really have to, he's gonna resurface again, and he just can't allow it. And Inko just made All Might promise to come back to her. Just come back to her. That's all she wanted. And All Might had kissed Inko as a soul promise. And you guys know, All Might had actually went off to go fight All For One. And you know what? I'm gonna give All Might some crazy, insane luck here. So, insane luck. Okay, when All Might had gotten that injury, it wasn't that bad. Okay, of course it's still terrible because he's like missing his body parts, but instead of missing his stomach, okay, just imagine, his rib cage and, that side of his body is gone. But his stomach and his organs are actually still intact, so he's actually okay. He's just missing his ribs at that point, which can actually be closed up. So best case scenario happened to All Might. Worst case scenario, he could have died, but best case scenario, hey, it did. At least he didn't lose his stomach, so even though his hero hours will still be limited and whatnot, at least it's not as terrible as it is in the actual show. because he promised Inko he'd come back, and having something to fight for just makes you try a little bit harder. So All Might was able to avoid missing his entire, digestive system or respiratory system, whatever you guys would want to say. So he's not missing his whole stomach. He's just missing his is it left? Yeah, his left rib cage and, his flesh on that part. But his internal organs in his stomach are actually still intact and perfectly fine. So he was able to get healed up, somewhat well. But, that side still has complications. But yeah, returning back to Inko and everything was actually very great. And after a while, after defeating All For One, All Might had said it was finally over. And so an era of peace could actually be brought down for a while. And so within that time frame, All Might and Inko decided to tie the knot and become, an actual married couple. And later down the line, they had a son named Izuku. So of course this would have happened down the line at one point, guys. It just would have. Oh yeah, if you guys want to know, All Might did invite his UA friends to his wedding and everything. Of course, Endeavor was there. Even though he didn't like All Might, he still respected him enough. And Endeavor got married around that time too. So yeah, even though it was kind of a forced quirk arranged marriage, who cares? They both found the women in their lives that made them happy. Well, at least All Might did. And it was actually okay. Even it was not publicized yet. All Might didn't want it to be publicized that he was married and everything, but they still had a son named Izuku. But just to match All Might, guys, okay, the black in Deku's hair. Just imagine that part is actually blonde. It's not the perfect mixture of these two is just immaculate. So Izuku had. Of course, he had freckles and he had green, but the black in his hair is actually replaced with blonde. He has blonde and green hair, but his eyes are still emerald green, but they're very bright. They actually look like, instead it's actually a teal color. It's mixed with blue and green. His eyes are teal. It's just so great. Only the heroes in the Hero Commission knew about All Might having a family, because they didn't really want it to be public yet, because wait, never mind, they're in an era of peace, so why does it matter? So yeah, it was made, since people know it's Endeavor's son, of course people would know about All Might's son. It's pretty great. All Might having a kid already, and it's pretty nice on the era of peace that they have. Naming him Izuku and everything, even though All Might was the #1 hero, he still made time for the two most special people in his world, his son and his wife. Guys, I just love this. Oh my god, we need All Might X Inko to be canon already. We need it now. Oh, I'm getting pissed off that it's not canon yet. But yeah, even though he was the #1 hero, he would always make time for the two most special people in his world, his son and his wife. There would actually be funny skits and bits about them as well. Hold on, let me cut to a few actually. Oh man, I love these bits. Ready to go kick some villain butt, my boy? Uh-oh. Toshinori Yagi, just where do you think you're taking our son? Just going on a little walk, that's all. In your hero suit. I would never let anything happen to our little ball of sunshine. Look at that! You got Small Might! The cuteness! It's overwhelming! It's too much! It just goes to show how much All Might cares for his family. It's very great because, okay, these are some bits. Okay, well, give me 1 second, guys. Because even though there's a time of peace in the end, All Might, has to do his hero work and whatnot, but Inko would never really minded that. I mean, honestly, All Might's the #1 hero for a reason. He would always finish his fights quickly just to rush back to his house, just to see his family some more. All Might was a family man, and, well, he liked it that way. But, but you guys know, this is the funniest thing here. Sometimes when All Might was patrolling the streets, people would see him with his son. And it would always make headline. All Might #1 hero with his son. Next #1 hero, question mark, and exclamation points. Oh man, All Might would tell the people that this is his son Izuku, but it's not that. But it's not that bad. People would always have to take a picture whenever they would see All Might with his son, because it's just great. People always assumed, of course, that child is going to be the next #1 hero. Of course he is. Everyone from the jump believed in Izuku. They always knew he would just be the next number one. And you guys know this had some complications with Endeavor. Because no matter what would happen, like All Might was there when Endeavor lost his first son Toya. So of course he was there to console him and whatnot. So they weren't always the best of friends, but All Might did consider him a friend, even though Endeavor didn't like All Might. He was appreciative for his concern and his condolences. I had to find the right amount of wording. But their bickering went almost no bounds. Well, Endeavor's bickering with All Might. This would end up being like a very hilarious ordeal to go through. Because it would always be Endeavor proclaiming his son was better than his. And All Might really doesn't want to get into any debates about that. Like, my son will be the next number one. He's stronger. He'll be stronger than me. Like Enji, please. They're just Enji, please. They're just children. We don't need to compare them. You're right. There is no comparison because mine is infinitely better. They're both just children. Just let them be children. No need. Shoto will be better than Izuku. I promise you that. It would always end up being an interaction like that. And when their quirks came out, it was just always a worse ordeal. Now, of course, All Might never really knew what Endeavor did because, obviously he doesn't live anywhere close to Endeavor. They live on, different sides. But just like Endeavor, okay. I never really knew, but I should probably ask you guys, should Izuku have All Might's last name or... You know what? Now he's gonna have All Might's last name. It became Izuku Yagi. I just love it. The Yagis. So, oh my gosh, the Yagi family. Just like Endeavor. The Yagi family also has a house, not like a big mansion because they don't really need one. It was just something that All Might deemed necessary, and so did Inko. They didn't really want anything big or something crazy. It was just something simple and nice and comfortable to live in. And by that, All Might did ended up buying a mansion, even though he didn't think he needed one. That was on accident. And just to combat with Endeavor's Japanese home style, All Might has a Chinese home style. So it was actually relatively a rivalry, even though All Might didn't think it was. It was just what made them comfortable. And well, it was just like that. As we know, Shoto's quirk was always half cold, half hot. All Might would always have to get his own personal doctors in and everything. So Izuku's doctor was actually a younger recovery girl, at this point in time. So Izuku always did look up to his father in many ways, wanting to be just like him. And in truth, he would be. And guys, oh my gosh, I'm gonna now it's time for Izuku's quirk. Now give me a sec to introduce it real quick. Now, okay, the Yagis are at the doctor's office. It just goes to show how tiny Izuku is compared to All Might. But anyway, moving on from that situation. So Recovery Girl's a doctor, so she would actually come out. But if you guys are saying, oh, Recovery Girl is just a nurse, not an actual doctor, fine. All Might would actually get hold on, I'm trying to think. Yeah. Referred doctors by the Hero Commission because, it's the son of the number one hero. So they want to make sure that there's no funny business going on. So they would actually get professional doctors recommended. Yeah. So recommended doctors and whatnot. But Recovery Girl would still be there to make an appearance. But anyway, now let me tell you about Izuku's quirk. Now, oh my gosh. I could not tell you guys how crazy this is because Inko and Toshinori only had one child, but that one child was the best thing they ever could have made. It was the best combination of both worlds. All Might and Inko honestly could not tell you how their son had a quirk like this. All Might couldn't even tell. Was it because of One for All? Did the okay, now let me explain. Did the stockpiling bit or the upgrading bit go over to Izuku? That should be impossible because he still has One for All. Did some of its ember shoot off or something? I don't know. Maybe All Might just has good genes. Now let me explain to you guys what this was. Now, Inko's very base telekinesis quirk actually did factor into Izuku's quirk a little bit. But All Might having One for All actually kind of spliced off onto Izuku as well. I know what you guys are gonna say. One for All cannot be passed down due to any genetics or just by having a child. But we don't really know that. We don't know that positively for sure. You guys never could know. It could just be the potential that that the quirk actually has, or maybe the stockpiling bit or anything. But on that situation, we don't know how exactly it worked, but One for All did factor in. And well, let me tell you this: if All Might was just if One for All was just a flame and you would run off on embers, then Izuku was just a raging, burning, eternal inferno. Because Izuku's quirk was something very extraordinary. The combination of both quirks, because both quirks are so compatible with one another. Because telekinesis can just be, well, it can just give you it can just almost give you anything. It can almost be compared with anything. And One for All being a stockpiling quirk can just, oh my gosh, with the energy quirk as it is, they just created a very extremely powerful child. Because when the doctor would come in and flip the paper over on what Izuku's quirk would be, they would be astonished. Because there are quirks like this in the world, but Izuku's quirk is just godly. It's just god tier. All Might couldn't tell you how he did it, but hey, first try. It's awesome. He's so proud of his son. Now, I know you guys want to know, and well, let me tell you. Izuku's quirk, it's back with the fandom again, and Izuku's quirk is energy manipulation. Yes. Now, I know what you guys might say, but wait, how does this factor in? Okay, now let me tell you guys, because One for All is a quirk that stockpiles other quirks and energy itself. The quirk gets stronger over time, so the stockpiling ability mixed with the telekinesis kind of combined into one another, because One for All is an emitter type quirk and it's kind of energy based. And not only that, it also upgrades the user's quirk nowadays. Well, yeah, it upgrades the user's previous quirk before One for All. Initial quirk, yeah, that's what I meant. Oh my gosh. So Izuku being so powerful on this state, One for All, I know it can't be passed down, but hey, some of it branched off onto Izuku and created something so powerful that not even All Might himself could have foreseen. And that is energy manipulation. The ability to manipulate energy itself. Oh, man. So, yeah. The user can create, shape, and manipulate energy. The capacity or ability to cause or change or do the work. One of the most basic quantitative properties of a system, such as an object or field of energy. Energy can be transformed, converted into a number of forms that may each manifest and be measurable in different ways. The law of conservation of energy states that the total energy of a system can increase or decrease only by transferring it in or out of the system. Yeah, common forms of energy include kinetic energy of a moving object, the rating, yep, okay. With how much energy influences at a whole, it would be the ultimate superpower. One who can control energy is probably limited by their vitality and imagination. Applications. Okay, there's a lot on here, guys. And the reason I came up with this power is because I watched Classic Man D on his thing of energy absorption. I just wanted to give Izuku the whole thing, energy manipulation. Now, I know some of you guys might be thinking, well, kinetic energy manipulation because punching and whatnot. I decided to just go with the whole shtick. That kinetic energy manipulation was going to be the initial thing, but I decided, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to just give him the whole thing. I'm giving him absolute energy. So all these things Izuku could actually do. And, oh boy. Just look at all this stuff. Just read it. So that way you guys can go down the line here. Ooh, this is a lot. I'm going to shut up. Okay, there we go. Can hold in themselves. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, Izuku's God tier broken. And if you guys want to know, wait, how does a child have so much power? It's because of, well, I can explain to you in 3 words. Let me come back to it real quick. That would be one for all, my ladies and gents. Now, it all cuts back to it. Now, let me tell you guys, the stockpiling ability is what also transferred over to Izuku. And what do I mean by that? Well, Izuku's stockpile, when the stockpile energy of One For All traveled over to Izuku, it didn't really do it incompletely. So the stockpiled energy just straight up exploded within Izuku's genes, causing him to gain so much power. So automatically, Izuku is like 9 times stronger than what his quirk is naturally supposed to be. Because, well, One For All took it as a sign of, oh, All Might's trying to give the quirk the power away. So that makes Izuku the 9th user. Well, it technically does. Well, it really technically doesn't. But the quirk took it in that fashion. So with that being said, since All Might wasn't really trying to give the quirk away, but still, due to having a child and his DNA being gone, I know you like the quirk has to willingly want to give it away, but you know, because it's due to DNA purposes, and All Might was using One For All to his advantage for Inko's sake on pleasure. He wasn't really thinking. He was not thinking. So, even though All Might has never given the quirk away, he's still the 8th user. A 9th still has yet to be chosen. Izuku is considered as the 9th, but there's no limit to what power scaling he could go up to. So there is no 100% or anything. Izuku just has an infinite number he can go up to with his energy manipulation. And I mean Izuku can absorb all forms of energy. That includes quirk energy. So not many quirks can actively affect Izuku, because this just gains him full-on quirk immunity. Because any power your quirk would be able to give off, Deku would just be able to absorb it and dish it out right back at you, like 9 times more powerful than you initially gave out. Or hell, if Izuku straight up wanted to, he could just blast you with his own energy and you just be done. Izuku's power knows no bounds. He's God tier broken as a child. And I know you guys want to say it. Yes, Izuku is still best friends with Bakugo in this situation. I mean, obviously being the son of the #1 hero has its perks. But also, they just became good friends all around anyway. Because Izuku's influence and, you know, Mitsuki, yeah, Bakugo doesn't want to make her mad. So, of course, he had to be nice to this child here. But I like it a lot. Izuku having energy manipulation itself is just a very great power in on its own. Now, All Might, he could still do his hero work and whatnot. It would just be a little bit of complications due to, you know, his literal left rib cage, like, side missing. But it's fine. And that coughing up blood trope thing, yeah, it's still a thing, but it's not as, you know, crazy as it is in the, oh boy, as it is in the show. I mean, it's still a thing, but it's not as heavy as it usually is. All right, so as we move on from that situation, Deku growing up always wanted to be just like his father. He always took everything seriously, always trying to be #1. Seeing his father go out there and save people with a smile, as he proclaims, "I am here," was just all the motivation Izuku needed to begin training. Unlike Shoto, Izuku begged his father to train him to become a hero just like him. And All Might would tell Izuku constantly he doesn't have to be a hero like he is. He can be whatever he wants to be. But Izuku wants, and I mean wants, to be a hero. He wants to be just like his father. As well, just like him and Bakugo. Bakugo said he was going to be the next #1 hero, regardless of who Izuku's dad is. But Deku said, "Nuh-uh, no way." So they're both bitter rivals to the end. And All Might would say, okay. So he would, so just like this, Izuku would be taking a Gran Torino. Because, okay, this is like a Gran Torino getting older. Okay, Izuku is still a child here. So, well, he's kind of growing up. He's like at the age of 6 or 7. So this would be like All Might in his, becoming, like 30s and Gran Torino's like aging in his 50s. Yeah, I'm making Inko and All Might like in the same age range. So Inko and All Might are going to both be in their 40s, while Gran Torino's like, you know, going to be approaching his 60s and 70s like in the actual show. But it's not that bad. Moving on. So Izuku will be taking a Gran Torino and get like light training from him, because they think they're in an era of peace. So there's no need to give him heavy training like he gave All Might. But if Izuku, and he would always call Gran Torino like Grandpa Torino, because, you know, it would just be a thing. It would be very nice. Grandpa Torino. Oh boy. But Gran Torino would always warn Izuku, if he keeps up wanting to be this path of a hero, he won't keep taking it easy on him. The older he gets, the more rougher this is going to get. And Deku was ready for any challenge ahead of him. So, okay. Now, I believe that's enough of a backstory and enough childhood as of this point, because you guys already know where this is going to go. Son of All Might, and it's time to do this. This would be the very last, eventually we would get to the last day of high school. Yep, like I said, always college in this AU. The teacher would do the same thing. Well, it's not the same. Well, actually it is the same old middle school, because Deku didn't really want any special privilege just because he was the son of the #1 hero. Even though everybody expected it, Izuku didn't really want that. He wanted to live a normal life. And you know what? All Might respected the hell out of him for it. You don't need no specialized or, you know, rich background to come from to be a good hero. And Deku knew that all too well, because All Might went through the same thing. He wasn't special, like, he wasn't born the #1 hero. And Izuku didn't really want any special treatment. Sure, he could get it. I mean, sure, he would receive special treatment anyway from the people around him just because he was the son of All Might. But that never really changed who he was on the inside. Izuku was still a true hero. Someone who would always strive to save people with a smile. Even though he's not powerless like his dad is, Izuku's body would always move on its own in order to help others. He would always lift other people up instead of putting them down, just because he had a good quirk. It didn't matter. Izuku would always inspire those as well. Even though your quirk may not be strong, or you don't think it is, I promise you it's much more than you think. Train your quirk. Try to figure out any other thing it can do. Your quirk is what you make it out to be, not what anyone else tells you. Izuku was always inspiring like that, just like his father. That's why people would always say he's guaranteed to be the next #1. He's just like his father in many ways. Even though, like, not by looks. I mean, his face, he looks like his mom, but his personality would always match his father's. It's just very great. So when the teacher read off that Bakugo wants to go to UA, people would always hype up Bakugo. But when he read off that Izuku wanted to go to UA too, it was a definite guarantee that he would get in. Everyone would cheer for Izuku, always praise him. They would always bow down to him like he was some sort of god, but Izuku would never really want that. But Bakugo and Izuku were best friends / rivals in the end. So even though bullying was never a thing, and they still came up with I mean, well, you know what? There's no need for any nicknames. They're just on first name basis. Katsuki and Izuku, because they're best friends. They're close like that. It's just very great. Now, Bakugo would say over the next year of training, he's going to get stronger than Izuku. He's going to be stronger, and he's going to be better than him. And Deku just says he can't wait to see what Bakugo's comes up with. So as school would end, All Might would be there to pick him. All Might would actually be there to pick him up. Because All Might actually did stop the Sledge villain a lot earlier in this situation. Because there's no complications from his wound. I mean, well, there still is, but not too much complication. But anyway, on that situation, his father's there to pick him up, and everybody would be, take pictures and everything. But All Might would please ask the people to, he needs to spend time with his son here. So everyone would respect that idea, and they would leave them alone. So, All Might, they would actually arrive home a lot earlier than they would. Inko was like a stay-at-home wife, so of course she's, at the house all day now. But still. So, All Might would ask Izuku what does he want to do. And just like always, Izuku would say he wants to be the next #1 hero, just like his father. And All Might thought so. Ever since he was a kid, he always wanted to be. So, All Might said he's gonna call Gran Torino, and Izuku's gonna be put through the same amount of training All Might was when he was younger. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be gruel and very cruel, but Izuku's ready for it. All right then, Izuku, just don't say I didn't warn you. And that, guys, is where we're going to be leaving it off on this part right here. I really did like this, and I very much enjoyed doing this here. This brought a smile to my face every time I did this, and you guys already know. If you guys want to continue this, since this is a new what if, after, you know, my 300 subs, you guys know what this requires. 10 likes. We need 10 likes to continue this story. Otherwise, it's just going to be dead in the water. So, guys, you guys know what to do at this point. I'm very happy I can make this what if for you, but you guys know, 10 likes if you want this to continue. So with that being said, like, subscribe, comment down below. Peace!
She likes it when I hit, when I tap. Wait, what? Ay, shawty's the same, not without me, she ain't function. Running up the game, I don't got no time for love. Shawty, stick to your lane, I don't wanna hear you bugging.